the hole?
What about the other holes?
Well, that was the only hole I complained about. Was the
Or,
front one.
well, there are a couple front holes.
Oh, well.
Oh boy, I can't wait to go back tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah. There's a lawsuit. Yeah, I don't know, at least they fixed the one that was by the sidewalk, so that's a start.
Yeah, that entire parking lot is like this wreck. I mean, we fixed one hole, big deal. It's like, there was another hole right on the other side of it. And
Oh,
it's not as
well.
deep, but you know,
It's
like
a
everybody
start.
shovel that far.
It's a start.
Oh my gosh, unbelievable. Like, people. And they will probably wash it all out.
Oh. Oh, instead of having all robots.
What's happening? How are you?
Oh, what's this all about?
Well, my wife will love you.
We have a good selection this year. For you?
Mm-hmm.
Your son's birthday? Maybe 29 again.
30 years ago. No, wait, well, no, 20 years ago. I know I'll be 47. I'm considered vintage now.
You doing anything special?
The next day I'm flying out to St. Louis for a conference. But, no, I don't know. I'm not sure. Well, you know, this weekend is Mother's Day, so we may have a combination. Yeah. But I'm not hoping for my husband's not one for like huge things, but it would be nice. But well, my daughter will know it's my birthday.
There you go. Good to have girls. That's a girl
Oh
thing.
yeah. She just turned 10.
She's what, she's 12?
10. Yeah, she just turned 10 on the 23rd of April.
Oh my gosh.
I know. She'll be in 5th grade in the fall.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not ready for it. She's already talking about middle school.
Okay. actually, if you call,
So you're gonna pretend night or weekend, calls dispatch. What we do is dispatch is like, hey, listen, there's 5 houses on the street and something's going on. If it's one house, what we do is the next morning, we'll call. If it's on the weekend, Monday morning, we'll call, and then we would go around the street. So no matter what, we call dispatch. Because if it's like a couple of houses and there's an issue with the main. So.
We don't need to report that.
That's normal.
Good evening, welcome to the May 5th edition of Bedford City Council. Who would please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Asbury?
Here.
Longino?
Here.
Cochee?
Here.
Spinks?
Here.
Salvi?
Here.
Fluharty?
Here.
Smith?
Here.
Council, you have the minutes of the work session of April 21st, 2025. Any corrections for that? Seeing none, can I have a motion for acceptance? By Spinks, second by Fluharty. Call the roll, please.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Yes.
Spinks? Salvi?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
And you have the minutes of the regular meeting of April 21st, 2025. Any corrections to those? Can I have a motion for acceptance by Asbury, second by Smith? Call the roll, please.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Unfinished business, ordinance number 37-25.
Yes, sir. An ordinance is amending section 911.07 of the Streets, Utilities, and Public Services Code entitled Charges for Installation of Meters and Service Connections for Water and declaring an emergency.
And it's our wish to put that on second reading. Can I have a motion for second reading? By Longino, second by Smith. Call the roll, please.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
And we'll get into the reports. Before we start, I want to thank the Vice Mayor and our Law Director for chairing our work session. Mike and I were down at Cleveland State University for a presentation. Mike can give more detail on it, but the graduate students there, part of their master's program, was to pick a project and run with it. And they picked the city of Bedford. And so we went down there to see their final presentation. And it was awesome. They had some great ideas. They came out, they were in the city, they talked to people, they did a lot of work. And they not only looked at our problems, but they offered some solutions, which is great, because a lot of times we hear problems, criticism, but nobody puts a possible solution to it. they had a lot. Some of them we were already doing, some we have planned, and some we hadn't thought about. So it was really good to get this fresh perspective, because all these students in the class, they're graduating this Sunday, I believe, and they're out looking for jobs as city planners, and I wish we could hire a few of them, because they had great ideas. But anyhow, it was very good, and I want to thank you guys for running the show until we got here, and it was very interesting. And Mike, if you want to add anything to that.
Sure, I will be quick this evening. As the mayor mentioned, this project, it was the capstone project through the College of Urban Affairs. Just to put it into perspective, the project that they had selected last year was the City of Cleveland's project for redesigning and coming up with solutions for the entire lakefront. So it was a big deal. There were a lot of projects that were pitched for that. Ultimately, it was a focus on improvements to, or possibilities and improvements to the historic district, as well as focusing on the former University Hospital site, given the recent, the upcoming acquisition that'll be taking place. So it was good, a lot of good ideas. You know, some of those challenges we're already aware of, a lot of things that we have planned, so it was good stuff. That presentation will be made available, we'll have it on our website, and we'll work to get it out on social media as well. I only have a few items. I touched on the UH closure. That was, University Hospital was pushing for that to take place last week. The city had some concerns as we worked through that closing. In the end, it has not closed, although it is scheduled to either Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. We worked through some of the maintenance issues that University Hospital acknowledged. That falls on their responsibility, and we hope to have that keys turned over to the city shortly. The tree plantings through the county urban tree canopy grant that the city was awarded last year. If you recall, we did half of the plantings in the fall. We are continuing with the plantings this spring. Jay Barker is doing that work. County has had a inspector out on site. These are trees that were designed for tree lawns as far as the height and the root depth and all of that. All of those things were taken into consideration when they were selected. And those should be done in the next week or so. And lastly, or two other things, we did release the summer concert series schedule. That is the concerts every other Wednesday down in the Commons. That is out on social media, as well as the city's website, and they'll start next month. So stop down. There's a diverse group of musicians, so kudos to the staff that worked to put that together. And lastly is we are working to finalize a submission to the Ohio EPA. I've been talking about this for a few years now, most recently at the last ward meeting. This submission is in response to our annual permit renewal cycle, but also in response to the no feasible alternative analysis that we conducted over the last year and a half. Part of this proposal is going to outline improvements, major infrastructure improvements extended over decades to make it the plant, to make it the collection system. We've also put together a rate analysis of that and what it would cost to fund those improvements over the decades, the next few decades. In that analysis, one of the things that was eye-opening, and we'll get into this more in the coming months, but one of the things that I think is important to point out, just to put it into perspective when we talk about rates and our sewer rates, the city's minimum sewer rate on a water bill is around $30 a month. Regional is over $80. Our neighbor is over $80. Actually, it's 85. And another local community is going to be approaching 45, 50 this year. So we have done a good job of keeping those as low as possible. But there's going to be a time that needs to get adjusted. And I think even with adjustments to fund necessary improvements that we're going to be required to make, I'm confident that we are still going to be cheaper than all of our neighbors and regional sewer district as well. So, with that being said, I'm going to
Thank you. Mr. Asbury?
Thank you, Mayor. Just very briefly,
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I look right past it.
never mind.
I'm still spinning in the traffic, right? I would hate to drive from downtown every evening like we did. Oh, horrible. Sorry, John.
No problem. Mayor, I just want to wish Happy Mother's Day to everybody, and go Cavs, and thank you for coming. That's about it.
Thank you. Ms. Howland?
It's okay to skip me, I don't have a report this evening. Now,
Sometimes it works out. Mr. Asbury?
Yeah, you gotta wait now. You can come back to it. Thank you, Mayor. And very briefly, while Mike is looking up the shred day, which he's gonna let me talk about, the hole in the driveway at the post office has been filled.
No mail.
No mailbox, but the hole has been filled. I saw it over the weekend, I think, and it was partially filled, and I figured, well, that's kind of weird. But then somebody posted a picture online today that's been completely covered, so good deal there. Oh, we got Community Shred Day is coming up, May 17th, Saturday, from 9 a.m. to noon, right here in the parking lot. Are we still doing the just open your trunk or your hatch, and they'll fetch it for you and throw it away? Thank you, Tom. And the only other...
please, only shreddable items. All right, no, only shreddable items.
The only other thing I have is I want to give a big shout out and thanks to the Bedford Fire Department and the Eastside Technical Rescue Crew and whoever else responded Saturday to an incident at near Viaduct. A gentleman had a slip and fell, and luckily he's not critically injured, but they did a great job of rescuing him and bringing him up out of the gully in a very timely fashion. I just got home from the west side and I heard about it and I went down and I just watched them work, and it's just amazing. These men and women are fantastic, so feel blessed that we have them on our side. And a report, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Longino?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What is it, Ocho, what is it called today? It's
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo, that's it. Yeah, Cinco de Mayo. It's 5/5/25, by the way, too, right? Just wanted to talk about chipper service started today, 5/5. If anybody didn't know about the groundbreaking for the middle school, that'll be May 10th. Oh, his birthday, at 10 a.m. 10:30, what else?
10:30.
Oh, 10:30, okay, and I'm reading it, it says 10:30, so it'll be 10:30, May 10th. Also, summertime is here, let's clean up our yards, make sure, and I raised my hand because I'm one of the ones that really gotta work on my yard too, because it was pretty rainy, a lot of water. I had someone tell me, and then Mike pulled up the stats on all the rain we got, and he was like, man, we've gotten a lot of rain, so I know everybody's yard is probably saturated. And as Jeff talked about before at the ward meeting, we talked about those pretty yellow flowers that came up, and I got a lot of them too, so I made my nephew cut my grass. So be good out there, because like you said, we're not in the grass cutting business. We're not the city landscapers, right? So make sure we get that done. As I always said, I've been saying before, my brother is commissioner of the Little Bearcat football teams, always looking for players, cheerleaders, and anybody that want to be part of the program. That's Terrence Thomas with the Little Bearcats. Number is 216-254-8207. 216-254-8207, the Little Bearcats. Also, when we talk about the summertime coming around, I think I mentioned this before about some trees, you know, make sure you, if those trees were rotten and the winter has been pretty harsh on them, make sure you get those taken care of. I had a resident and tree from another neighbor's yard fell into his yard because it was pretty rotten after the long winter. And I need to stop talking about weather, because I think every time I talk about weather, we get hit again with another cold spell. So I'm not gonna talk about summer being here, because when it comes, it comes, but we'll worry about it then. So let's take care of our yards and make sure we take care of our trees. I'm sure after I say I yield my time, I'll think about something later, but I'll say I yield my time. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mrs. Spinks?
Yeah, so, Dot, are you gonna go over this, or you want me to go? Okay, talking about, what else would give, Dot's our president of the garden club, and coming up on May 16th, Friday, May 16th, Saturday, May 17th, is going to be the 37th annual plant sale. There's also a big poster on this window, and I think there's one at this window too. All kind of information on Friday the 16th is 2:30 to 6:30. Saturday, the May 17th is 10 a.m. to 2 at Ellenwood Rec Center. Everybody knows where that, and it's a good opportunity to become a member of the garden club. A lot of really good stuff goes on. One of my favorite things, being a member, being on the board of the garden club. A lot of stuff, a lot of the beautiful things that you see around the city are done by the garden club. So make sure you save these dates. Like I said, there's more information. There's a big sign out there. And are these available around places? And then on this coming up Friday for the Bedford Historical Society is Tim Taylor. It's gonna be at 7 o'clock. It's our speaker series. And we can hold 80 people in the community room. So whoever gets there, the first 80, we have a feeling that we're gonna fill up very fast. So I'd advise you to get there early if you'd like to come hear this lecture. We had talked about moving it to Ellenwood at one time, but we get a grant for the speaker series, and we ran out of time on being able to publish it, so we had to keep it at the community room. So this Friday, if you want to come to this, it's going to be real good. And there won't be any other of the Channel 8 people there, just to let everybody know it's just Tim. Not just Tim, but he's good by himself, but he'll be talking about a lot of stuff that happened. Still working on the videos, because they want to make sure that these videos from the big event, the Tim Taylor Roast, is done correctly. So those are still, look for that. I'll be announcing when those go on sale. That's another fundraiser for the Historical Society. The pies, strawberry pies. Again, you can contact Marilyn Coachy. I have numbers, phone number to order your pies. Strawberry Festival, planning's going on. Again, that's gonna be June 13th, 14th, and 15th. 2 weeks ago, had the pleasure of volunteering. This would be one of my favorite things. I've got so many favorite things that I get to be involved in Bedford, but this was one of my favorite ones. That the high school hosted the Special Olympics. Over 600 participants. The mayor was able to stop by. He didn't do any volunteering, he just sat around and talked. So he did mayor things. So it was so fun, and it just did my heart good, because a couple of my kids, well, they're not kids anymore, they're about in their 30s, and they remembered me. I hadn't seen them in a couple of years, and that just made my heart so much fun. One of my jobs was to make sure that everybody made it over the finish line, so everybody got a medal. I was very tired by the end of the day. I had a lot of fun. It was just does your heart good, and thank you to all the volunteers that do this, to the starting people and to the starters, the timers, everybody. A lot of teachers volunteered, school board was there, so it was fun-filled day to do that. And it was a little cold, but the sun was out, so that made it a lot better. Let's see. Talking about the trash. The trash is and I belong to a bunch of boards and stuff, and I know right now that South Euclid and Conway are doing a big project they're doing it every Saturday, and it's called the Big Clean. And I think they had about Euclid had about 75 volunteers, residents or whatever, get out to get the orange jackets, and they just hit you know, the areas that are really bad, the polluting, the trash is just, it's in every city, it's just crazy, people just don't care, they don't care, and one of the workshops, or one of the things that I did a couple of weeks ago, was talking about going back to the old school. A lot of people in the audience will remember the slogan that they used to have. It was the owl, and it was give a hoot, don't pollute. Trying to bring back education to our kids, because that's where it starts. And I know from doing the Bedford Clean a couple of years that I'm planning on hopefully doing that again, is maybe talking to the rec department, and maybe I'll come in, and some of the other volunteers are coming from these other cities, and just educate these kids. And when kids see their parents do something, those kids, if they look up to have a mentor or someone that tries to lead by example, that's why I pick up trash. I have for probably, Bob, 18 years. I was picking up in Shaker before. It's just always been a pet peeve of mine. I wasn't used to that. I lived in the country. Then when I lived in the city, I lived in New Orleans and never saw trash like that. It really got bad after COVID. And then the styrofoam containers and all the stuff that's going on. So working on educating, not just kids, but everybody. When you throw out those bottles and you throw out stuff, it's damaging our earth. So bringing back, you know, the education part of it on pollution starts with our kids and goes on from there. Let me see, speeders. Gould, sitting on the porch talking with some residents of mine, and this lady, I think she came off of Center, went down Gould, and she didn't even slow down to go. She went right through the stop sign. We watched her. She went through the other, went all the way down to Grand, and like I've got a license plate number and a make of a car. We had one, I wonder if it's the same lady that was on, used to come down one hole.
The white car?
No, this was a red one. This was a red one. But that's crazy, and I asked Mike to possibly get, because we have a lot of kids in that area there, to get kids at play. Some of the residents have talked about it. I know our guys are behind on the signs and stuff. Now I say the biggest complaint for last. So the Greencroft project, the culvert was done, okay? We had some complications. There were some pretty big potholes. Played to Mike. Mike got our guys to go down there. It really wasn't hard. The excavator's supposed to be coming back to do this. Filled them in some. Of course, we got the bad rain. So I asked again, okay, we've had all these days and stuff. Want to get things closed back off, because that was the route that everybody would get in and out, because Greencroft was closed. Well, now we got Maple Heights school bus number 10. I called and complained about it today and turned her in again. She decided, so Mike, thank you for the service guys that went out there and put the barrels. There's 4 big, orange, huge barrels at the end of things, okay? Common sense would tell you that means that this street is closed, right? Here comes one guy down. He gets out of his car, moves the barrels, and goes right through. Resident came out. Thank you, Chris Sweet, if you're watching. Thank you for trying to be that, and it's really not her place to be doing that. And then here comes a Maple school bus. She has kids on the bus. She gets out and moves the barrels and goes through. What example is that showing our kids? Not a very good one, right?
Wow.
So after about the 3rd phone call, I get in my car. I go and I park my car at the end of things. Here comes another school bus. He honks his horn at me to move so he can come through. And then I said, can't you see these orange barrels? Can't you see the sign that says no throughway? Can you not read? And so there was about 6 kids that for some reason were walking the middle of the street. And he goes, well, I can't back up because there's kids in the street. So, hey kids, let's move out of the street. We have sidewalks. And so he moved out, and he wasn't real happy about that. So Mike, I don't know what we're gonna do. It's very aggravating. I can't sit down there 24/7. you know, it's pretty sad when you have to put a do not enter or do not come down here. I hate to see our guys come down there with big sawhorses or whatever, but thank our guys for trying to do that, and thank you residents down there. But it's just been, it's a speedway. They're cutting through there, and I know most of the cars come there. It's not our traffic, so it's crazy. So I yield my time. I'm through complaining. Hopefully we can get something done.
Thank you. Mr. Sully?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Special Ward 2 meeting held April 28th. Since the annual Special Ward 2 meeting was just last week, we'll keep this report short. I'll clarify my comments on two questions that came up at last week's meeting. One resident had a question regarding the proper location of where trash receptacles should be stored prior to and after trash collection. That's City Ordinance 915.11 covers storage of receptacles. Trash receptacles should be stored either inside or behind your home or inside your garage. The second concern brought up by a Bedford resident had to do with the United States Postal trucks parking too close to stop signs at intersections, thus creating a hazard for pedestrians and other vehicles. I personally have seen U.S. Post Office vehicles parked almost at stop signs too, as well as in front of fire hydrants. It was stated by the representative of our Bedford Police Department that the USPS is immune from local and state traffic laws. I believe that is true in part. I'm in the process of doing some legal research on this issue. For example, East Cleveland traffic cameras allegedly caught one or more post office mail trucks speeding in school zones and running several red lights. Although the post office attorney argued that the Postal Service has immunity, I don't believe the attorney alleged the driver or drivers could also claim immunity from prosecution. My belief is that although cities may not be able to collect fines from the United States Postal Service, the driver should be held accountable for traffic violations as you or I would. Although not conclusive, more than one attorney who had written about the scope of the post office immunity claimed case law is on the side of local and state governments. I'm still looking for that case law. Apartment buildings in Ward 2. I recently visited apartment buildings on Cowles and Solon Road. I was hoping to find buildings in better condition than I saw during my last visit. I'm concerned for the well-being of residents who live in these buildings. Because I saw conditions of concern, I will be forwarding photos which document areas of my concern to City Manager Malice, who can share them with the City Building Department and Fire Department for review and follow-up where appropriate. Most longtime residents would likely be surprised how run down the public areas of these buildings are in a state of disrepair and maintenance. During my review of the buildings, I found giant eagle carts inside and outside one or two of the buildings, furniture and miscellaneous items in hallways, loose and broken floor tiles in public hallways, stairs, and near stairways, possible electrical lighting code violations, broken screens, dirt and debris in public areas, broken entrance and exit doors, missing fire extinguisher, possible structural issues. I found a smoke alarm sitting on a windowsill. One or two exit lights was not working. Multiple stairway condition issues, and one side of a primary exit of a double door was padlocked shut. I'm not sure if that's legal or not. It's an issue for probably the fire department. I understand that one or more residents may contribute to some of the alleged issues that I just mentioned. However, the conditions I saw are unlikely to take place without the neglect of the facility's property management. Jason Avenue, parcel 813-14038. I visited the parcel where a resident of Cleveland has sought multiple variances from the city of Bedford to build a new home on Johnson Street. My first reaction after finding the lot was surprise due to the narrow size of the lot. I concur with the residents and the Board of Zoning Appeals conclusion that this lot is too small to build a structure that will complement the character of the other homes on the street and fit well between the existing neighborhood homes. The owner also admitted to the board that no hardship exists. For this reason, I will be voting to accept the decision of the Board of Zoning Appeals today. Thank you, and the report.
Mr. Fluharty?
I just got, because of the weather, yards need to be caught up. Get a chance, get out there and get your yard caught up. Other than that, I got nothing else to report up on the hill today.
Okay. Mr. Smith?
Good evening. First, I'd like to mention tomorrow morning we'll get job fair for seniors, for juniors and seniors at the high school. All the municipalities that feed the schools will be there offering summer jobs or even maybe permanent jobs for the children. And that's going to be from 8 to 10:30 in the auditorium in the gymnasium. Being that summer is upon us, I just want to ask that our residents slow down. Children are going to be out there in the street, middle of the street, sidewalks, whatever. It only takes a second to run up on the sidewalk and injure some of our children. So please slow down, watch for the children. Once again, it's summer. On Wednesday, our fire department will be doing a demonstration at the high school because it's prom season. They're gonna just do some things as far as like wrecks, car wrecks or whatever, extractions, things of that nature. Possibly Life Flight will be landing in one of the fields over there. So if you see Life Flight circling our area and just drop them down, most likely it's not emergency. It's just our fire department set this up to educate our children on drunk driving or drugs or whatever during prom season. Memorial Day Parade will be Monday, May 26th. It starts at 10:15. Thank you.
Thank you. First off, I'd like to congratulate Sandy Spinks on being reelected to the President of the Historical Society. Good job. On a sad note, I want to pass it along condolences to Tom Day, our Clerk of Courts, on the passing of his mother. Just want to give our sympathies from the council and the administration to Tom on a sad time in his life. And also we talked about our summer schedule. Here it is, May. We haven't got summer started. We're already talking about summer schedules, but our summer schedules, we always go down to one meeting a month, and they will be the first Monday of each month of June, July, and August. June 2nd, July 7th, and August 4th. And then September, we start back to our regular schedule. With that, let us move on to new business, and the first motion, please.
Yes, sir. Could we get a motion to approve the Board of Zoning Appeals decision to deny Roz Patrick of Patrick's Enterprises to build a new home at permanent parcel number 813-14-038 regarding 4 variances that he or she was requesting. The BZA voted not to grant those variances.
We have a motion to approve the board's decision by Longino, second by Asbury. Call the roll, please.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Ordinance number 38-25.
Is an ordinance amending a prior ordinance number 62-24, making additional appropriations for current expenditures of the city of Bedford during the year 2025 and declaring an emergency, basically updating the budget.
I have a motion for suspension. by Asbury, second by Smith. Call the roll, please.
Asbury,
Yes.
Longino,
Yes.
Cochi,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Salvi,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
A motion for third and final by Spinks, second by Fluharty. Jen?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, this is a budget adjustment for this year. This is mainly, adjustments to increase budget for the, recently approved ordinances for like the Bedford Commons, for stormwater management program, for, there's some grants that we received, and wastewater improvements that were, these are all previously approved by council. Budget improvement. Thank you.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Asbury,
Yes.
Longino,
Yes.
Cochi,
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Salvi.
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Resolution number 2625-25.
which is a resolution declaring the necessity of assessing the expense of garbage and refuse collection, recycling, and disposal within the city of Bedford and certifying to the county auditor the cost due to the city of Bedford for garbage and rubbish collections provided to residents and declaring an emergency.
I have a motion to put it on first reading. Spinks, second by Fluharty. Mike, Jennifer, who would like to?
Yeah, just really quickly, we do this every year, but this is for the refuse fund. Everyone that has a single family, a two-family, or a three-family house is charged this on their property tax bill for their refuse collection. In the last couple of years ago, council approved a, Kimball, the refuse costs, they're going up every year. So in that light, we will having to increase the, for single-family residential unit, $2 more per month. So that's $20 per month for a single-family resident, $40 for a two-family, and $60 for a three-family residential unit. And this is just first reading. Thank you.
Call the roll, please.
Asbury,
Yes.
Longino,
Yes.
Cochi,
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Salvi.
Yes.
Fluharty.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Resolution number 2626-25.
Is a resolution declaring the necessity to improve certain streets in the city of Bedford, all of them actually, by lighting the same and declaring an emergency.
I have a motion to put it on first reading by Smith, second by Asbury. Mike, if you would bump that together with the next couple. Do all these on first reading. Lighting.
Yeah, these are all, as the ordinance states, it's the assessments that go out there for all of our street lighting throughout the city. There's certain areas that are not included, but they're minimal bridge items in downtown area.
And it's something we do every year to keep the lights on. Call the roll, please.
Asbury,
Yes.
Longino,
Yes.
Cochi,
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Salvi.
Yes.
Fluharty.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Can I have a motion for our ordinance number 39-25?
It is an ordinance determined to proceed with assessments, with the improvement of certain streets in the city of Bedford, Ohio, by lighting the same. So the prior ordinance, you first have to declare it necessary, and then the second one here is to proceed with the improvement, to light the same, and declaring an emergency.
Motion to place on first reading by Salvi, second by Spinks. Call the roll, please.
Asbury,
Yes.
Longino,
Yes.
Cochi,
Yes.
Spinks.
Yes.
Salvi.
Yes.
Fluharty.
Yes.
Smith.
Ordinance number 40-25.
Yes, an ordinance levying special assessments for the improvement of the street and public places in the city by lighting the same in accordance with resolution number 2626-25 and ordinance number 39-25 and declaring an emergency.
Have a motion for first reading by Asbury, second by Smith. Call the roll, please.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Ordinance number 41-25.
Authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Software Solutions for utility billing software, license conversion, configuration, and implementation for the water department of the city and declaring an emergency.
Have a motion for suspension by Asbury, second by Smith. Call the roll, please.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Motion for third and final, Spinks, second by Fluharty.
As the ordinance states, this is for the water department's utility billing software. The current software is not going to be supported at the end of calendar year 2025. So we've been looking at some options as far as updating the system. Do we stick with the current software or do we work with Software Solutions? Ultimately, it was determined that Software Solutions is the company we want to go with for a number of different reasons. One, they're a more local company. Two, they're less expensive. Three, very completely compatible with the finance department. And equally important to all of those, after doing demos with multiple softwares, this was the recommendation of the staff.
Anything to add to that? Okay. Call the roll, please.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Ordinance number 42-25.
Is authorizing the finance director to establish and maintain a new fund for the city of Bedford referred to as Blaine Avenue Campus Redevelopment Fund and declaring an emergency.
Have a motion for suspension, Spinks, second by Fluharty. Call the roll, please.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Asbury, second by Smith. Mike, or Jen? you wanna-
This-
Mike, okay.
This is just to establish a new fund, being that we are going to be closing on the transaction for the hospital property. 14 days after the transfer of property, University Hospital is required to pay the city of Bedford $2.1 million. It has been determined previously in administration's recommendation that a separate fund be established, which is what we're doing this evening. That those funds from the settlement will go into this fund and will be utilized for redevelopment opportunities moving forward at that site.
Good idea. Call the roll, please.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Now we come to the hearing of citizens. As you know, whoever wishes to speak, please come forward, state your name, your address, and your comment.
Good evening, everyone. You know, my name is Sabrina Future. Again, I'm not trying to disregard you saying where I live because of what's going on in our society. I'm not comfortable with that anymore. You can reach me, you know where I am. Thank you all for your service that you give. I did a personal assessment of my ward because I always go through and walk and pray. And I came to the conclusion that I'm not leaving Bedford. No matter how uncomfortable sometimes I get or I make others feel. I have wanted to leave at one time and go to Bedford Heights. And the Lord told me, no, stay. And I want to say, I am happily staying. I love Bedford. It looks like where I came from, my family, Southern Illinois. I was born in Cleveland. My parents are from Southern Illinois. And this place looks just like the community. The trains, the noise, the church bells. It's from when I was a child that it brings back great memories. And I want to create those memories for my grandchildren. So thank you. I think you're doing a great job, but I also think that we can improve. I've been given my service, as I stated. I left the YMCA because they closed. I love the Y. It was family oriented, and we ran a lot of programs off of a little budget. I expanded a program, Teen Court, that started with Bedford Heights and Strongsville. Worked with Detective Harry Edwards, and I expanded that program to 6 with the same budget. Because I wanted to go to Warrensville, where I grew up as a tiger. I wanted to go to Cleveland, where we need those type of programs. It worked. It worked. We are living in a time where our kids are just off the chain. 2013 is when they let me go. I say fire without a reason, and it devastated me. I'm just getting the strength to get back out here, because I didn't want to. The house that I live in, I was never to live in that house. I bought that house to help single mothers with children have a decent school district. But because I've been a lot of things, holics, but the last one was a workaholic, and I'm still one. But I've learned to balance myself, because my mother is not here. My mother left in that university hospital. When I went there, not knowing my mother was dead and gone, that was the last time I saw my mother in that hospital. I'm saying that to say, I'm serious about my life. I'm serious about my relationship with God and loving all people, even if they don't love me. It's okay. I visited Maryland the other day. I have a picture. Maryland is slowly deteriorating, but she's hanging in there. I'm grateful for her leadership. Sometimes you don't appreciate people until they're gone. I'm grateful she's still here, and I can thank her for her service. But I want to say this. First of all, I'm known to be loud when I'm passionate about something and I think people are being mistreated. And so I just want to say that. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress, and we all are. But I want to also thank you for the brochure you sent out for the neighbors to notify them of different things, because that was something we talked about. Thank you, because I think that helps if people take time. If they don't, at least we've done our part. The second thing is the pollution that Sandy spoke of. I am a grandparent that I started recycling because my grandson was in kindergarten or first grade, and they sent something home about recycling. And I was like, you know what? I need to do this. If I want this earth to be here for my children, and I started recycling, and I recycle everything. Paper, glass, plastic, everything. My husband and my children, they get on me because they want me to just throw it out. But to me, if I used it and if somebody else can use it, I'm not throwing it out. We're gonna recycle or give it away or something. So I think that's an excellent idea. Yeah, my question is, do we really recycle? Because I was told that the city of Cleveland they weren't really recycling, even though the people were. And so that's a question I would like to know. Are we really recycling? Because we are paying for it. So, but thank you. The next thing is, my daughter, she graduated from Cleveland State University. She would be what I call the first generation in our family. My father was a school teacher in Cleveland Public Schools. But because of family issues, I didn't want to be a teacher because I didn't respect things. But my daughter, she went on and graduated from Cleveland State University. And thank you for bringing them in on what you were speaking of. I think it's an excellent idea to work with the youth. Thank you. Whew. The next thing I want to say is I think I seen something about not approving this new building because of variances. Well, first I want to say this. There is a new home on Henry Street. That's where I live in my ward. It looks nice. I don't know how it was built because that's not my expertise. But all I know is I'm glad to see new buildings in my ward. I don't know why we're not approving this other one. I would like to know where it is they wanted to go and why aren't we approving it? Because if people are willing to invest in a new home in our community, why are we not approving it? Don't make sense to me, especially when I live on an alley where I have 2 commercial buildings deteriorating around me. And I've said it over and over. It's an eyesore and it's a hot spot for crime. If all we could have did was put up plywood against the windows and doors, we wouldn't have the deterioration that has occurred now. It's horrible. But you guys don't have to look at it, but I drive it every day and hope kids don't go over there. Now, that other building, 115 Northfield, they wanted to do something for tenants and you guys said, no, you can only do 2, and to me that don't make sense because you can look at the place and tell that 2 tenants will not financially sustain and maintain that building. So guess what's happening now? I see aluminum siding coming down. I see the building deteriorating. So now we got 2 buildings on the same street deteriorating where I live. I don't understand it. I really don't. So I'm suggesting, I don't know much about city planning and all of that, but I'm a quick learner and I'm a life learner. And I'm willing to work with you guys and sit on somebody's board or committee to volunteer my time that I really don't have time, but I believe in investing in where you are. So I'm putting that out there, Mayor, once again. You don't have to pay, because every time I talk about something, it's always about money. But again, I ran a program from 2 to 6 with the same budget. And it worked. The next thing, there was an issue up at the park and recreation department a couple weeks ago that I was attending a workshop on dementia or something. I wasn't even going to go because I was in a meeting that took longer. And so it was 12:30 and I wasn't going to go. I was like, I'm late, I won't go. But the Holy Spirit said, no, go. So I went. And I'm grateful I did because it was an excellent workshop seminar. And I needed to hear that information. And after that, I seen 2 kids across playing games, the game that with the TV. And I said, wow, that's something that I would like to do with my grandsons. Because all the programs now, either my youngest one is too young and my older one, he's too old. It's like, but they have put things, but my schedule don't fit. So I'm like, why can't we open up this place for just open play for families and kids like myself with my grandkids. I'm not looking to drop my kids off. I'm looking for the space to be open. Because I have a 100-year-old house that right now I have water in my basement, been getting that ever since I lived there, but I don't worry about it because it's functional. We can do the washing and all of that. But I don't have room for my children. And that's why I need to get into that record. So I had a conversation with Sarah, and we were talking, and I said something I guess struck a nerve, and she got loud, and I got loud with her because as a child I like to have a voice and I like to be heard. So it got louder and I got louder. I was asked to walk out with my pickleball friend. She suggested I leave. I was like, why? I didn't know that those were her children, but I was told, don't disrespect. I would never, ever disrespect any children or an adult, first of all. Second of all, I wasn't leaving because we weren't finished talking. When, we have to learn, when you're uncomfortable with a conversation, pray. If you don't believe in God, then ask for some strength and suck it up. And respect people and look at people in their eyes when they're talking, Mr. Flahari. You are my counsel person. I don't know why you disrespect me, you don't like me, but I like you anyhow, because my grandmother taught me better than that. The next thing, I felt bad of how that went that night. I woke up and couldn't sleep. The Lord said, you know what? What you said was right, but how you put it out wasn't. I meant everything I said, and I said everything I meant. But I wish I couldn't have gotten a higher voice than her. And when the director came in, he asked me to leave. So I wasn't going. He said, you're in here disrespecting my employee. We were not. We were having a debate. And I ain't never debated, never ever debated. But I've always been a child who wants my voice heard, especially when I'm an adult and we're trying to reason and come up with solutions. And when I was talking with her, it really made me want to cry, but I'm tired of crying. I've been crying all my life. I don't know what's going on with America, but guess what? God has blessed America, and we better bless God back. If you're a Christian, you better get in that good book called the Bible before leaving earth and repent. Because God is not pleased with none of us. None of us. My father looked like y'all, by the way. My grandfather, my mother's father, okay? Let me state the case. And what I mean, my grandfather looked like you all, the color of his skin. But because this world is so messed up, I was embarrassed of him. Shame on us. Shame on us. I'm saying all this to say, I have 4 grandsons in this city I am concerned about. Because somebody might not like their color. It's real, y'all. We got to talk about this stuff. Mr. Ashbury, no, I told him my story. He suggested that I go to the rec center. Well, I went there, and every time I talked to them, we need a grant. I'm so sick of hearing about a grant. Because everything don't cost money. It costs time, consideration, and respect. So, Sarah, I apologize for raising my voice. 2 wrongs don't make it right. When I went to apologize to her, I was told she couldn't come talk to me because the city manager and the director told her not to talk to me until we have a meeting. I was like, what? I'm a grown woman and you are too. And we can talk woman to woman without having males in our conversation. But she's respecting what she was told. So here I am, Mr. Malice, letting you know, whenever you want the meeting, we should have had the meeting a long time ago, and maybe it wouldn't have got to that point, because I'm not finished. I've been volunteering my time to help come up with solutions. I'm good with that. That's my gift, and I was willing to give it to you free. So when you want a meeting, call me. We've talked before when we've had disagreements. And you and I were able to agree to disagree in a professional manner.
Sure.
Every time I talk over there, that director, before that, he would come over when I'm talking to one of the employees and say, okay, release her, and then cut me off, disrespect me. I went on and on, let it go. But that day, I had enough. So I'm saying to you and the director, I'm willing to meet. Just give me 2 dates and times you're available, and I will rearrange my schedule.
So just a couple of things, and I think we'll agree to disagree on this matter too. I think it's unfortunate, the picture you're painting. What transpired that day, based on multiple eyewitnesses that provided statements to me,
Okay.
your actions were very troubling. And I think the reason why the director took that stance is because you've been given the same answer to the same questions. When unfortunately, it doesn't meet the answer you want to hear, you then go to the next individual. And then when you get the same answer, you then go to the next individual. And they've all provided the same answer. I think, like I said, we're going to agree to disagree on this. What the limited staff
What are we agreeing to
that we
disagree on?
have, the incident, and how you're portraying it, and what happened,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
Just so we're clear on that.
Okay.
Our staff are doing extraordinary things at Parks and Rec. I would put it up against the majority of the communities around here.
I agree.
And we have touched the lives, they touched the lives of thousands of people, young and old. And I commend them every single day because they are mission driven. And it's unfortunate that we're not meeting what you want. We can't change just for what one individual, that can't happen. And unfortunately, if we're not meeting what you specifically want, I don't know. Then maybe look for other alternatives. We can't.
I'm not leaving.
No, I'm not saying leave. I'm not saying leave at all. That's not what I said, so please don't put words into my mouth.
But what are you saying?
If you want a specific game room or an area where your grandchildren can go and play, and that's not what that center is. And just so the public is clear, that staff member and the 2 youth that were there, that was her vacation day. That she scheduled. No, you didn't.
She told me.
Yeah, afterwards, after you raised your voice in front of everyone. She came in on her day off with her children to make sure the programs for the seniors and those that were attending, that they would go off without a hitch. That's dedication. That's someone that cares about this community. And for her to get dressed up and down by you the way you did, it was troubling. And I'm sorry, we're going to agree to disagree on the events of that day.
Okay.
What you want and what you want at the center isn't what's being offered there now, and I'm sorry that we're not being able to accommodate that. I don't know if there's, by all means, sign up for all the programs, but if there's a center or a Y or something that you want to be able to, maybe there's another location that could do that. Our center doesn't do that.
I understand.
Okay? No, I just want to be clear on that.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not telling you to move.
Okay.
But if you're looking for a specific use, maybe it's a Planet Fitness, maybe it's a Y, maybe, I don't know. Our center doesn't meet that.
Okay.
And it was very unfortunate, and you were given the same answer by multiple people, and when they don't give you when they're giving you the answer and it's not what you want to hear, it goes on and on and on, and I think we have 3, 4 full-time staff, a couple part-time staff. They're trying to work with other people, and the very next, it's the same. They've given you the answer, and please respect that answer. I know it might not be what you want to hear, but that's what we offer at the center right now.
Okay, and I heard you loud and clear, and again, we're going to agree to disagree, but first of all, when I come, I'm not coming just for me and my grandkids, it's for the community. I have a membership at Planet Fitness, I have a membership at Twinsburg Rec Center, and I have a membership at the Macedonia. My thing is, why should I have to leave my community when we have facilities? And Mr. Malice, I was looking at you. Can you look at me, please, when I'm talking to you?
I'm taking notes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm taking notes. If you'd like to see it. It's a
No,
whole
no, it's
situation.
just a respect thing, that's all. I shouldn't have to leave to just, like I was explaining to them, and I say that to them not to dispute what's being said, but when I was coming up, because we couldn't leave our home, because my mother was trying to pay high rent, we had a pool table, we had an air hockey table, we had a pinball table, ping pong, all in our basement. We had a rec center in the basement because my mother wanted her children to stay home. Now, that's all I'm asking for in those extra empty rooms, not just for me and my grandkids, but for whomever in this community wants to come up and do things other than watch TV. That's what I'm asking. I don't think that's too much. And if it is, I can raise money to get it, because all I'm told is it's a grant. I'm willing to raise some money to get those opportunities in that facilities because the space is there. We do a summer camp on the upside, and other than that, those spaces are there. I'm not understanding it, and I never will because it doesn't make sense to me. Thank you for your time. And again, and by the way, I did tell Sarah, you know what? I put in a volunteer application. I never heard from anyone. I can pass a background check. Had you pulled me in, you wouldn't have to be on here on vacation. I could have covered you. Yeah. I'm through.
Anyone else? Not? I have a motion for adjournment. By Fluharty, second by Spinks. Call the roll, please.
Asbury,
Yes.
Longino,
Yes.
Cochi,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Salvi,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.